We're taught that America is the land of freedom, liberty, and rational governance. That's a nice story, but it leaves out the part where legislators spent centuries passing laws so spectacularly idiotic they make your HOA regulations look reasonable. From banning ice cream cones to outlawing margarine, from criminalizing whistling to making it illegal to tie a giraffe to a telephone pole, U.S. lawmakers have proven time and again that common sense is not a job requirement. This is a celebration of the 33 most brain-meltingly absurd laws to ever stain American legal codes. Buckle up. Number 1. The Great Ice Cream Cone Ban. Let's kick things off with Wisconsin. 1925. Progressive-era reformers who thought they had all the answers passed a law banning ice cream cones entirely. Their reasoning? Cones were unsanitary, and eating them was too sensual for polite society. Imagine if your state held emergency sessions because people were eating Dairy Queen too seductively. The law turned ice cream vendors into criminals for decades. Nothing says freedom like criminalizing dessert. Number 2. Alabama's Domino's disaster. Speaking of solving problems nobody had, Alabama, 1901. Fresh off disenfranchising voters, legislators decided dominoes were the real threat. Playing dominoes on Sunday was illegal if you did it for fun, but educational domino study was totally fine. Imagine explaining to a judge you were researching tile physics while your neighbor gets arrested for entertainment. This created underground Sunday domino scenes. You can't make this up. Number 3. Kentucky's bathing suit police. If you thought that was bad, Kentucky, 1920s. State law required government officials to inspect bathing suits before public use. Suits had to cover 6 inches above the knee or face arrest. Police officers patrolled beaches with measuring tapes like dystopian geometry teachers. Let that sink in. While Prohibition gangsters ran wild, Kentucky cops were measuring women's thighs at swimming pools. Number 4. Montana's Livestock Road. War next up is Montana, 1885. Ranchers convinced legislators that sheep and cattle needed separate highways. The law mandated different roads for different animals with massive fines for violations. Imagine if Tesla and Ford drivers needed separate interstate lanes because they couldn't coexist. With millions of acres available, Montana chose bureaucratic nightmares. The impossible enforcement led to actual shootings over road usage. Number 5. Indiana almost rewrote mathematics. Here's a lesson in why legislators shouldn't do math. Indiana, 1897. A state representative introduced House Bill 246 attempting to legally redefine P as exactly 3.2. The bill passed the House unanimously because nobody understood what they were voting on. Imagine Congress declaring 2 + 2 are 5 for economic reasons. A Purdue professor barely stopped it in the Senate, preventing every Indiana bridge from being mathematically incorrect. Number 6. Connecticut's bouncing pickle standards. Speaking of government overreach, Connecticut, 1800s. Concerned about pickle fraud, the state passed a law requiring pickles to bounce when dropped from 1 foot high. Food inspectors literally threw pickles at floors to test legitimacy. If your pickle didn't bounce, you faced fines. Imagine health inspectors rating restaurants by food rebound velocity. Connecticut had pickle physics standards before they had traffic lights. Number 7. Georgia's fork-free chicken law. If you thought that was bad, Gainesville, Georgia, 1961. The self-proclaimed poultry capital made eating fried chicken with forks illegal to preserve tradition. In 2009, a tourist was actually arrested for using cutlery at a public event. Imagine New York criminalizing pizza hands or Chicago banning ketchup on hot dogs with actual jail time. This turned the city into a national punchline. Number 8. Arizona's donkey bathtub crisis. Next up is Arizona, 1924. After a merchant's donkey fell asleep in a bathtub and floated down Main Street during a flood, legislators banned donkeys from bathtubs entirely. Instead of addressing dam maintenance, Arizona targeted donkey hygiene. Imagine California responding to wildfires by making squirrel hot tubs illegal. The law solved a problem that happened exactly once and remains enforceable today. Number 9. Oklahoma protects imaginary whales. Speaking of non-existent problems, Oklahoma, 1930s. This landlocked state over 500 miles from any ocean banned whale fishing. Let me repeat. Oklahoma, which has zero ocean access, prohibited hunting whales. Imagine Nevada regulating iceberg traffic or Kansas banning shark attacks. The law protected exactly zero whales because whales have the good sense to avoid landlocked plains states. Number 10. Florida's hairdryer nap crime. Here's why beauty salons and lawmakers don't mix. Florida, 1950s. State law criminalized women falling asleep under hairdryers and the salon owners who allowed it. Both parties faced fines. Instead of requiring better equipment, Florida criminalized being tired. Imagine Starbucks customers arrested for dozing with lattes and baristas charged as accessories. This was peak nanny state overreach. Number 11. California's frog jumping contest rules. If you thought that was bad, California, 1940s. State law made it illegal to eat frogs that died during jumping contests. Not all frogs, just competition casualties. If your frog croaked literally while jumping, eating it became criminal. Imagine hot dog eating contests banning consumption of ground-touching franks. This created legal classifications where frog meat legality depended entirely on death circumstances. Number 12. North Dakota's beer and pretzel prohibition. Speaking of food regulation gone wrong, North Dakota, early 1900s. Temperance laws banned serving beer and pretzels together because salty pretzels cause thirst, leading to more drinking and moral decay. Bars could serve either, never both simultaneously. Imagine restaurants today unable to serve coffee and donuts together. Bartenders had to confiscate pretzels before serving beer. Prohibition declared war on snack foods. Number 13. Louisiana's alligator fire hydrant problem. Next up is New Orleans, 1890s. After drunk Mardi Gras revelers kept tying alligators to fire hydrants as surprises, the city banned securing reptiles to city fixtures. This wasn't hypothetical, it kept happening. Imagine New York banning bears chained to parking meters because it was a recurring problem. The law remains enforceable if you're walking your pet alligator today. Number 14. Tennessee's roadkill property rights. Here's a lesson in protein acquisition. Tennessee, 1990s. State law made taking roadkill illegal unless you're the driver who hit it. Finding fresh deer on the highway? That's theft. You must prove you personally struck the animal. Imagine Uber Eats requiring proof you killed your chicken sandwich personally. This commodified highway casualties and created black markets for accidentally flattened fauna. Number 15. Virginia's cash fortune telling ban. Speaking of targeting professions, Virginia, 1950s. Fortune telling was illegal if you charged money. Free palm readings? Totally legal. Cash tarot readings? Criminal offense with jail time. Imagine Instagram influencers arrested for accepting sponsorships while free content was fine. This targeted mysticism while ignoring actual financial fraud happening everywhere. Number 16. Massachusetts banned Christmas entirely. If you thought that was bad, Massachusetts, 1659. Puritan legislators banned Christmas for 22 years. Not specific activities, the entire holiday. No feasting, decorating, or taking December 25th off. Violators faced heavy fines. People went to jail for singing carols or hanging wreaths. Let that sink in. People who fled England for religious freedom immediately banned other people's religious freedom. Weapons-grade irony. Number 17. Texas Encyclopedia time restrictions. Next up is Texas, 1960s. State law required 24-hour cooling-off periods for encyclopedias sold door-to-door after 5 p.m. Morning encyclopedia sales? Totally unrestricted. The logic was nighttime sales were too aggressive. Imagine Amazon requiring mandatory waiting periods for purchases made after dinner, but letting you impulse buy freely during business hours. This treated books like controlled substances based on solar position. Number 18. Maryland's Armed Oyster Navy. Speaking of priorities, Maryland, 1930s. The state created an actual armed maritime force called the Oyster Navy and made oyster theft a serious felony with harsher penalties than violent crimes. The Navy engaged in real firefights with poachers, leading to deaths over shellfish. Imagine California deploying armed squads to protect avocados with military force. Maryland takes mollusks more seriously than most states take murder. Number 19. Minnesota's gender-specific pajama law. Here's a lesson in bedroom surveillance. Minnesota, 1970s. State law made it illegal for men to sleep naked. Women could sleep however they wanted, but men faced legal consequences for nude sleeping. Imagine your state requiring pajama compliance checks at bedtime for half the population. The law was virtually unenforceable since proving nude sleeping requires bedroom surveillance, which didn't survive constitutional challenges. Number 20. New York's puppet drinking ban. Speaking of prohibition absurdity, New York City, 1920s. The city banned puppet shows depicting drinking. Not live theater, specifically puppets. Puppeteers faced fines if wooden characters held tiny beer mugs. The logic was puppets corrupting children's minds. Imagine Disney banned from showing animated characters drinking apple juice. Meanwhile, actual speakeasies operated semi-openly throughout the city, while authorities policed felt and string. Number 21. Illinois criminalized Sunday whistling. If you thought that was bad, Berkeley, Illinois, 1910s. Town ordinance made all whistling illegal on Sundays. Not just loud whistling, any whistling. Violators faced fines and public shaming for making unnecessary noise. Imagine your town banning humming on weekends because it violated Sabbath sanctity. Selectively enforced against young people and minorities, this criminalized joy 1 day per week. Number 22. Pennsylvania made car naps illegal. Next up is Pennsylvania, 1950s. State law made sleeping in parked cars on highways illegal. If you were exhausted during a road trip and pulled over to nap, you could be arrested. Imagine laws requiring you to drive drowsy instead of resting because stopping was criminal. Police would wake sleeping drivers, fine them, and send them back onto highways while exhausted. Actively dangerous policy dressed as public safety. Number 23. South Carolina's pinball prohibition. Here's why moral panic makes terrible laws. South Carolina, 1940s, 1970s. The state banned pinball machines entirely for over 30 years, declaring them gambling devices corrupting youth. Police raided arcades and publicly destroyed machines. Imagine your state banning bowling because rolling balls might encourage gambling. The ban created black market pinball speakeasies where people played contraband machines in basements for 3 decades. Number 24. Utah's Great Salt Lake whale protection. Speaking of landlocked whale laws, Utah, 1970s. Following Oklahoma's lead, Utah banned whale hunting specifically in the Great Salt Lake, a hypersaline lake that absolutely cannot support whale life. Imagine Wyoming protecting coral reefs in mountain lakes. The law protects theoretical whales from hypothetical hunters in water where whales would die instantly from salt concentration. Oklahoma's mistake with extra geographic specificity. Number 25. Rhode Island's tooth puller licensing. If you thought that was bad, Rhode Island, 1890s. The state created a licensing system for professional tooth pullers, separate from dentists. These specialists could only extract teeth while patients were fully conscious, no anesthesia allowed. Imagine needing different licenses for oil changes versus wiper fluid, with mandatory pain requirements. This was bureaucratic redundancy that literally increased human suffering for no reason. Number 26. Kansas regulated snowball physics. Next up is Topeka, Kansas, 1920s. City ordinance declared snowballs missiles, requiring permits for organized battles. Spontaneous kid snowball fights resulted in fines for unlicensed projectile deployment. Imagine requiring background checks for water balloon fights. The law was allegedly passed after a city council member got hit by a snowball, turning personal grudge into municipal policy. Number 27. Nevada's unicycle highway ban. Speaking of traffic regulation absurdity, Nevada, 1960s. State law banned unicycles from highways specifically. Not bicycles or motorcycles, just unicycles. The law targeted single-wheeled vehicles while allowing everything else. Imagine banning pogo sticks from bike lanes while permitting semi-trucks. Even police couldn't take enforcement seriously, but the law technically remained in effect for years. Number 28. Maine's Christmas decoration deadline. Here's holiday enforcement gone wrong. Maine, 1980s. State law required all Christmas decorations removed by January 14th, with daily increasing fines after the deadline. If your lights or wreaths remained up, penalties escalated. Imagine your state fining you for keeping birthday decorations too long. Decoration police issued citations to grieving families keeping up memorials. Christmas cheer became a timed compliance exercise. Number 29. Delaware's pawn shop video surveillance. If you thought that was bad, Wilmington, Delaware, 1970s. City ordinance required pawn shops to videotape every customer and transaction, submitting tapes to police weekly. This was decades before modern security cameras were common, making it expensive and invasive. Imagine every Facebook Marketplace sale requiring HD video submitted to federal databases. This was surveillance overreach that disproportionately targeted poor people using pawn shops for emergency loans. Number 30. Arkansas legally mandated pronunciation. Speaking of government overreach, Arkansas, 1881. State legislators passed a law dictating pronunciation of the state's name. Arkansas was legally correct. Arkansas was officially wrong. Imagine California requiring specific San Francisco pronunciation by law. The law made pronunciation a matter of state legislation rather than linguistic preference. Arkansas remains the only state with legally mandated pronunciation backed by legislative authority. Number 31. Colorado's porch furniture police. Next up is Boulder, Colorado, 1990s. Concerned about student house aesthetics, the city banned upholstered furniture on porches. Couches and armchairs outdoors could be confiscated by code enforcement. Imagine cities banning patio furniture because it didn't meet aesthetic standards. The law led to nighttime furniture raids with bizarre standoffs over loveseat placement. Ostensibly about fire safety, everyone knew it targeted college student culture. Number 32. Idaho's Cannibalism Consent Clause. Here's a law nobody asked for. Idaho, 1990. Legislators passed specific legislation making it illegal to eat human flesh, even if the person being eaten consented. Murder laws already covered cannibalism, but Idaho wanted specificity. Imagine your state passing detailed alien first contact regulations despite zero evidence of extraterrestrial life. To this day, nobody knows what incident in the Idaho State House prompted this legislative priority. Number 33. The Federal Margarine Conspiracy. Finally, the granddaddy of stupid laws. In 1886, Congress passed the Margarine Act after pressure from powerful dairy lobbyists who feared cheap butter alternatives. The law slapped heavy taxes and licenses on margarine, and later, regulations even forced it to be dyed pink to make it look unappealing. Several states went further and banned margarine entirely. The result? Higher food costs for consumers and decades of protection for the butter industry. Some state bans lasted until the 1960s, almost 80 years of margarine oppression. What started as consumer protection was really corruption served on toast. 33 exhibits of legislative brilliance that prove common sense isn't a requirement for making laws. From criminalizing ice cream cones to protecting imaginary whales, from mandating pickle physics to banning Christmas itself, American lawmakers have spent centuries perfecting the art of spectacular stupidity. But the Hall of Shame is vast. These are just the highlights. Who did we miss? What absurd law still haunts your state's legal code? Make your case in the comments below. We might need a sequel. And if this journey through legislative insanity entertained you, hit that like button. It's not illegal yet. Subscribe for more proof that humanity's greatest talent is making rules that make absolutely no sense. See you next time.